Alright guys, so I figured we go down through this bottom box now. So, first drawer, kind of a junk drawer. Got a little bit of everything in there. I got everything from electrical tape, Teflon tape, which I never use Teflon tape, but I have one. And I got this old school, this was my grandfather's as well. This wooden ruler that actually, you guys have probably seen these before. It's all brass here. It just unfolds. And he had this in his box. These things are cheap, and I love these. These are great for if you want to just get a quick measurement on a radius or something. They're just veneer calipers. They work awesome. Razor knife, scrapers, tip cleaners for a torch. These are great too, these little scales. I really like these little scales. I got a couple of these. Here's an AK cleaning kit that goes in the back of a buttstock. I used to have about 20 of these things laying around. But yeah, I got this one. Forgot I had it in there actually until now. But yeah, this comes in your buttstock of your AK-47 usually. It's usually in a little door, a trap door. You got to push it in, and it's got on a spring. Got a couple of them laying around. Not so much in this drawer, but I have some. Thing of anti-seize, which I have a bunch of anti-seize. Graphite lube, tire inflator, bunch of these grinding stones. A little bit of everything in here. Razor blades. Actually, I got a bunch of these. Needle bearing. These are bearings that go in your connecting rod for, I think these are for the YZ, or not YZ, the CR125 that I had. Maybe it could be for my son's KX85. I don't remember, but I got 4 or 5 of those laying around. Feeler gauges. Just a bunch of random stuff. So, next drawer. This is the wrench, the standard wrenches, ratchets, and other wrenches up here. So I got a couple little pipe wrenches in here. Here's the crappy Pittsburgh one that I had before that I showed in the video. Got a couple cheaters here. I got a bunch of these. I bought a set of these cheap. These are from back when Harbor Freight, before they even had stores. This was like back when it was like mail order. This one's 1 inch, 1 inch and 1/8, but I got a whole set of these. And some of them didn't work that great. Now these ones work good. These bigger ones, they work awesome. I haven't used them a lot, but when I do, they work. Got some big crescent wrenches in here. I got a Proto. I got a Crescent one. And I got this Crescent one, which I shot another video. And this is the pry bar. If you guys remember, I think it was the SK socket set video I did. This is the Craftsman pry bar that was in there that I ended up breaking it off. So it's been chilling in here for a while. I also have, here's another cheap tool that I absolutely love. The Harbor Freight belt tensioner tool. This thing works awesome. I'm so glad I bought this thing. I've used the crap out of it. And this is another tool that I also really love, and it's not a cheap one, but I'll tell you a little story about this. So about a year ago, where I work at, one of the guys had got a Proto socket set. So he got the socket set in, they ordered it for him at work, and he threw the case away. And I saw the case, and I just happened to go over and open it up. It was in like the little dumpster thing. I opened it up, and this was in the case still. This little manual guy. So I'm like, well, hell, why did he throw it? I guess he didn't want it. He just left it in the case and threw the case away. So I took it, brought it home. I've seen these things since I was a little kid, and I never used one before. These things are awesome. I love these things. This thing works awesome, and I love it. So, yeah. So, other than that, just a bunch of wrenches. Proto. This is a Proto 3/8 drive. This is a heavy-duty Proto 1/2 inch drive. This is a Proto 1/2 inch drive, like a regular one. This little Harbor Freight 1/4 inch ratchet. Oh my god, this thing is awesome. I love this thing. It works way better than my Craftsman one, that's for sure. But yeah, these are the ratchets I actually use. So anyway, there's another cheap tool here that I got. This way. So back in the early 2000s, I got a Mustang off a buddy of mine, a 93 Fox body, which actually, it's all kind of got some stuff on it, but this is the actual shift handle off of it because I switched it over to a Hurst shifter. This is the stock shifter, shift knob. I just have it in there for whatever reason, but I was driving, I swapped the wheels over to Saline 5-spoke wheels. And I was driving it, and I must have missed one of the wheels, when I torqued the lug nuts or something happened and the lug nuts came loose. And for whatever reason, the original lug wrench for the car wasn't in there. I'm driving along, and I was right by a plaza, and I felt something going on in the back. It was one of the back wheels, the lug nuts came loose. And I got out, I parked at Big Lots, and I checked, in one of the wheels, you could tell the lug nuts were just loose on there. So I went inside Big Lots, and I seen they had this ratchet, this exact ratchet, and a socket set, which I have somewhere. And I bought them to tighten up the lug nuts. This ratchet has been amazing since then. It's very, very sturdy. I've used it with the cheater bars, I've used it with everything, and this thing just does not falter at all. It works perfectly. If it would have been a crashing ratchet, it probably would have broke the first time I used it. Anyway, so yeah, that's what I got in there. Just a bunch of random, mostly all just standard wrenches. I got a bunch of newer Pittsburgh stuff in here, but I got a lot of older stuff. A lot of these Popular Mechanics double box ends, I got a bunch of those, and some open ends as well. So, let me put that junk back in there. So the next drawer, mostly files. I got a random thing of drill bits that's probably about halfway full. Yeah, got some drill bits in it. But I bought these years ago. Who knows where I got them. And mostly just cut off wheels. Got a bunch of hole saws in here. Files. I got wood chisels in here. I got scrapers in here. This is kind of like my needle files. Jigsaw blades. Bunch of random stuff. Tie wraps. Bunch of like wood chisels and stuff that I've had forever. Bunch of grinding wheels for my grinder. And just stuff like that. This is just kind of that stuff. So I actually had this random hog ring pliers that I've had for probably since the 90s, and they were used when I got them. Anyway, that's all that's in there. So this drawer is all air tools. So a couple of tools I have in here are quality. This I bought at a pawn shop about 10 years ago. It's an Ingersoll Rand air ratchet. This thing works awesome. Impact. So this is an Ingersoll Rand impact, 1/2-inch drive. This is the 231C. Now this is probably one of the torquiest son of a bitches I've ever ran. 1/2-inch drive anyway. It's air powered. Now I got a 3/4-inch drive Milwaukee. It worked. It's way bigger, but it's a battery one. But for air tools, the Ingersoll Rand 231C is probably the torquiest thing you're going to get without spending a bunch of money. And this thing is awesome. I love this. But a bunch of other stuff too. So I got a couple of these. Now these things work great. These things work great too. These are just those twist-on Scotch-Brite deals. I did a lot of it's just your own. I got this little thing which I've only used a little bit. It actually works really well. Little angle grinder, Harbor Freight actually, I think. And you could do cutoff or you could do regular grinding stones. It works good. This little saw, I don't know if they even sell this anymore at Harbor Freight, but it does work really good. You just got to make sure to change the blades when they get dull, or else you'll just be sitting there forever. I've had this probably since the 90s too, a little air grinder. It's good for a lot of things. And of course your little cutoff wheels. Okay, so here's a tool that I bought. It's a USA made tool. It's a valve spring compressor. And this thing, I cannot get this thing to work. I've tried it many times. You put this on the valve spring at the base where it sits on the head, and you screw it down. And this is supposed to push down on the top of the valve retainer, or the little holder, and release it enough to get the clips out. I've never got this thing to work for nothing. And I bought this, I think I bought it used on eBay, and it was still a lot of money. And it has never worked good for me. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong. I've tried it probably 6 or 7 times, different times, and it's never done good for me at all. But I still have it. And this is one of the I just bought this pry bar. You guys saw the video. Okay, here's some junk sheet metal vice grips. As you can see here, the gap is all weird. I think the other ones will actually probably work. One of these is really bad. Yeah, look at this one. Look at the gap on that. I mean, it probably might still work, but they're probably next to nothing as far as price goes. So, I also have this little photo. It works okay. Anyway, that's what's in there. Most of my air tools. Hammer drawer. I'm sure how well you guys can see that. A bunch of, you know, the regular hammers, ball peens. I got a chipping hammer. This is a Tomahawk brand, Atlas Tomahawk. These things are great for doing stick welding. I got a couple pry bars in here. One thing about this pry bar is a snap-on pry bar. I actually found this in a deal when I was towing cars years ago. I found this thing in a parking lot at a dealership. And I pulled in like with the tow truck to deliver a car. This was sitting in the parking lot. It was like on my way in. And actually the same thing with this. This is my Matco big straight screwdriver, which has obviously been used as a pry bar many, many times, which that's what I use it for. I found this the same way actually. So these two I got for nothing. They both work, you know, of course they both work great. This is the pry bar we broke pulling that motor, or getting that motor, trying to get the transmission off. It actually broke the handle. Just a cheap Big Lots pry bar I've had since the 90s. And really super cheap slide hammer. Now I've used the crap out of this. I got a couple different ends. But this thing's got some good weight to it. I had to weld this handle. It's actually just a piece of pipe. The original handle broke off. But it just works good. It just works really good. I've had this thing for years. In this drawer, my favorite thing in this drawer is probably this cheap hammer. It's like a dead blow ball peen. I got this from Tractor Supply. It's a set with this one. This is just a regular. This hammer here works awesome. I love this hammer. It's not very heavy, but it just works great. You know, it has a nice swing. It's got a nice grip to it. It just has a nice weight to it. I just love this hammer for some reason. This is also a hammer I bought at Big Lots back in the 90s. In fact, me and my brother both bought one at the same time. And I've used the crap out of this thing. The rubber on this handle at some point started to slide off easy. So I put a bunch of hot glue on the handle, on this part of the handle, and shoved the rubber back on. It's never came off again since. And this hammer's been in my toolbox since like 1994 or something like that. Then I got some cheap body hammers, which I haven't used a lot. In fact, I got a better set over there that Mill Creek Fab Shop donated. They're like Harbor Freight ones, but they're way better than these. These are kind of junky ones. And I got some body files and some other crap in here. Just some grinding wheels and stuff like that. Got a couple different kind of sheet metal shears. So, let's see what we got. That's one bad thing about some of these drawers. You really got to make sure everything's sitting flat. So this is the last drawer. This kind of got kind of a multitude. I got impact sockets down here. These are all standard. Compression tester. I got a test light, which I've had forever. This thing actually works really good. I got something to clean my files. File card. Soft bristles and stiff bristles, which works great. This is a good one. This is a cheap one. It's an impact driver for screws. For big screws mostly. You whack it with a hammer and you can set it to go either way. I actually did have to buy this second set of bits because I had a couple bits in here that broke. So I found this luckily somewhere and it fits perfect in there. For the Phillips anyway, which is what I had the most problem with. This thing works awesome. I've had this for years. And these stud pullers are really cheap and they work well too. So they got like it's like a 3-roller deal in there that grabs a stud and just screws it out. There's enough to grab onto anyway. So those are cool. And I got a couple meters in here, a bunch of chisels and stuff, and just some, I don't know, just a bunch of random stuff, mostly. A lot of different chisels. Most of them are cheaper ones. And just actually a random level just in there too, which looks like it's pretty much brand new. Yeah, so I don't know. Just a bunch of stuff. Just some of it good, some of it not so good. It all works. Some of it doesn't work as good as other stuff, but you know, it's all decent. So that's that. This video is probably getting kind of long, so let me pause you and we'll wrap this up.